All right. Want to thank everyone for coming. Coach Reiners will come up first. He'll give a short introductory speech, and then he'll be open for questions. And following that, Ryan Hommel, J.J. Kilgore, and Phydell Paris will all be up here, and they'll be open for questions as well.
Welcome, everybody. Great to be here as always. I think when you look out this time of year, I don't know that there's a better time of year with the kickoff of football season, whether you're watching the Hall of Fame game. Actually, we didn't get the Hall of Fame game. Whether watching the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and then you kind of just start going from there. And we had obviously our RMAC Media Day back in August, so it was great to get down there and take a couple players down there with Cody Benny and Andrew Blaylock and really start talking about, our upcoming 2016 season. I'd like to thank the media for coming. I'd like to thank Ryan Hilgeman for setting this up. It's crazy. You go outside today and it's about 63 degrees, and it's supposed to be 58 and raining tomorrow, and you would never know that it was about 90 plus yesterday and the day before. But only in Spearfish. We got to love it. I think when you look at this season, the 2016 season, a word that jumps out to me is anticipation. We have anticipated this season since we walked off the field last year. Obviously, it's no hidden secret. We did not have the success we wanted last year. With that, we only lost 5 guys, and we only lost 5 seniors. Great kids, but we knew that the cupboard wasn't bare, and we had a lot of guys coming back. And you're going to get an opportunity to visit with some of those guys here later today. But I tell you, the anticipation for this season has been built up so much, and it really started in our off season with Coach Siekman, our strength and conditioning coordinator, and all the guys embodying what we call the chase. Basically what the chase is, hey, we know where we're at. We're at a point where we're chasing everybody that's above us. But it's not just the teams. It's the guys within our team chasing each other. And that's been something that our guys embodied through this offseason, embodied into camp, and really have stuck with, of the chase, and now added a little bit another of a theme of be about it. Don't talk about it. You can talk about stuff, you can whatever, but we're going to be about stuff. We're going to be about hard work. We're going to be about doing the things we need to do in the off season, which we did, which put us in a position we feel to have some success this year. So the anticipation, leading up to it, obviously, Sunday couldn't come quick enough for us to check in, to get going. Just finished up 4 great days of practice, and our guys. And when we leave spring ball, what my goal and what our coach's goal is always to, you want to when you leave spring ball, you hope that when you come back for the fall camp that you're either at or above where you're at. And I'll tell you what, our guys have not let us down. We have a ton of returning lettermen. We have a ton of returning starters, and those guys have really taken upon that leadership role through the summer, through these first days of camp, to really make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do. And that leadership has really shown through, we do a testing. Coach Siekman does a testing where, we want to see what guys did in the summer. And we had a handful of guys that didn't make it. And so they had to come in at 5:30 in the morning and these last 3 days and continue to condition extra. And we had a handful of our seniors and leaders that were there. They'd already made the test, but they were there making sure that these kids and coaxing them and helping them and just being somebody that's there for them, showing how important it is that leadership quality is there. And so I think that shows wonders about our group and where we're at. We've got a great group of 12 seniors. They've shown great leadership, as I said, so we're excited to really get this thing going. We have more depth than we've ever had. We have the 12 seniors, we have 19 juniors, we have 19 sophomores, and 19 redshirt freshmen. And so you can kind of see now we're starting to get the streamlined effect of what we wanted when we started recruiting back in 2012. This senior class is that first group of guys that we recruited that we've seen through 4 to 5 years, and now we're starting to see those depth things come into play with some transfers, with some redshirt kids, and just guys that, we're hoping as we look at it, we don't have to start playing all those true freshmen and redshirt freshmen. They can be more role players and whatnot, and that's going to be very important to us. So our expectations are high. We're about winning. I don't care what it is. Winning is an attitude. We got that in our locker room. Our guys know it. Our guys, they believe in it. They're a great group of kids, but we need to win football games on the field, and we know that. We had opportunities last year where we could have, didn't take advantage of situations, whether it was we had a turnover, we didn't stop somebody, and we were there, but we got to finish those games. And I'll tell you what, the way this group has shown me and the rest of the coaches that how they've prepared themselves for this, they've made that anticipation for me not so much of a burden coming into camp and seeing where these guys are at. So, we're very excited. There's no doubt about it. And you're going to hear from, I want to really make sure you get a chance to talk to these three guys about the season and about how they feel. Like I said, I felt like the first 4 days have been really well, went really well. We've seen some nice things, seen some guys that stepped up and done some nice stuff for us. Some of the redshirt guys, some newcomers, I think, that are really going to fill the bill for us. So a lot of anticipation. Can't wait to get started. And we'll go full pads again tomorrow. We got a scrimmage on Sunday. I believe that starts at 1:30. And it's going to be an exciting year, no doubt about it. We got 6 home games, most we've ever had in a long time. We also have 8 games within 150 miles, with playing our rival South Dakota Tech down there, and also playing our rival Chadron State at their place. So, you got 8 games right here in our backyard. So, the travel schedule is set up for us. We'll go on the road twice, which is great. Let's get our guys on the road. Get that camaraderie together, and there's nothing better than doing that and starting the year off right, going down to Adams State and a team that we've played with but haven't taken advantage of opportunities. They're going to be a good, solid team, no doubt. They got their coaches in their second year. But I know our guys will be ready. Those are a couple of games that we've lost to them that we've been beating them in the fourth quarter. And so, we have an opportunity. We got to go down there and make the most of it. So very excited. Can't wait to get going. At this time, I'll field any questions that you guys have. It is very important for us to win early.
Yeah, I would just say, because it leads, obviously, from what
Yeah.
last year. Talk about the mindset early on.
Oh, I think there's no doubt. I mean, you go down and you have an opportunity to go down and play in Adams State or Fort Lewis, who, they're going to be very formidable opponents. But it's so important for us to go down and really start our season off right and try to say, hey, we're going to go down and get 2 wins on the road right away before we even come home, and then play Dixie State, who's a newcomer in the conference. But I think that goes without saying that it is so important, if we want to have some success this season, it starts with the first game. And so Adams is obviously the team that we're looking at first, the team that we've already got broke down on film. Our coaches spent all summer doing that. They're virtually going to be the same team from last year. They got some key players back, and so we know what we're going to have to go against. But it's so vitally important to go down there, have success, come back with the win, get back on the road again the next week. But, yeah.
Well, and not only that, you're jumping right into the conference. You don't have that FCS school to open with, but how does that kind of change?
I think, number one, you got familiarity with them. So we're not going to an Idaho State, a Montana State, an Angelo State, where you really don't know as much about your opponent. Maybe you're playing them for the first time ever. They're not an FCS opponent. They don't have 63 scholarships, Those are great for your budget, but they're not always great, Those are tough games. And so, that mindset is different, where we're going into a game where, I think the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, there's a lot of parity across the board. I think any given week you've seen year after year, any team can beat any team. And regardless of our record, I still feel like we're in that mix. I feel like we're a team that, can go down and beat anybody at any given day. And it starts with Adams. And so, that familiarity, knowing that team, I think is huge. Us having confidence going into that game is going to be a big part of it. And I know our guys will be up for the task.
What do you see as the biggest challenge for your team this year?
I think it's confidence. When you come off a season where you struggled, with wins and losses. I mean, last year our guys, they played their hearts out. Felt like there were games that they could win, but at the end of the day, when you don't win a game, it can wear on you. Okay, and that's why we talk about, hey, winning has to be an attitude. Okay, we're not going to settle for anything less. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is our guys believing in themselves. And I'll tell you what, if you watch them through spring ball, if you watch them through the things they did there, and you watch them through the first couple days in camp, it's not a confidence issue now. It's just, hey, they believe in themselves, they believe in each other, and but that's something we got to make sure that we overcome. I think that's one of the biggest things.
Speaking to that, from experience coming off a season that you'd rather turn the page on that chapter, what are you doing differently from a mental and physical standpoint and execution to change that
I think it's a culture thing, and I think a lot of it has started with Coach Seekman in the weight room, just that attitude of what they have, of buying into our core values and not settling for anything, whether it be, you know, an off-season conditioning drill, whether it be how we react to turnovers in practice, how we react to different things, and then also understanding there's going to be adversity in a game. And, you know, when you get that quick change or that momentum, I can't see guys' heads go down and think that, okay, it's over. You know, you look at multiple games last year where, you know, there were some very poignant points in a game where it could have went either way. And for us, unfortunately, at times at the end of the game, it went the wrong way. And so it's that mental capacity, like we talked about, of our guys being mentally tough. And I think it comes to leadership, you know, and then, you know, when you only have 5 seniors last year, you know, that can be tough. This year you have a group of 12, but you have a group, and you have not only that, but you have some juniors and other guys that are in that mix that are leading by example. And a great example of that I just said is them being up with those guys at 5:30 in the morning when they didn't have to be there, and showing that leadership of this is what we need to do. Number one, you need to get into shape. We will help you do that, you know, and being there with each other. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that mental mindset of, hey, we're a winning program. We got to go out and win. Let's not talk about second. That's not going to happen. And I think that's been one of the biggest things, and it's been our guys that have done that.
You're talking about, you feel a lot better about going into the season with a lot more depth. I know it got thin in some areas for you last year, and it kind of showed, especially down the stretch. Coming into this season, comparing it to last season, is there any phases of the game or particular positions where you think you made the most improvement as far as depth, where you're going to have a lot more options?
I think it's across the board, really, and that's been a key component. I mean, you could go right down the list. You know, whether it's D-line, offensive line. You know, you look at those two positions in general. You know, we went out and were able to get junior college transfer and Jared Tiefenthaler. We also have had some other guys come in, had some other guys step up, maybe move some positions on some guys, where, you know, now we have some depth that's going to help a Cody Benny. I mean, Cody Benny, to me, is one of the best D linemen in the conference. He's very underrated. He doesn't get a lot of publicity. I fight for him in meetings with the coaches, because the kid's number 11 in the conference in tackles, and that's usually your top 20 linebackers, not your nose tackle. And, you know, but we need some guys that can spell him, and we need some guys that can, you know, be beside him. And I think, you know, Thayer Sauter's now in his second year playing D-line, and so it's not just the depth, but it's also guys that we switch positions that now have so much more experience, and that's huge. And then you look at offensive line, you know, I think we have 5 or 6 guys that have starting experience on the offensive line, you know, so we're not just relegated to those 3 or 4 guys that have played and then maybe a backup. I mean, so more depth in those. I think wide receiver, we've got some great depth. I think at defensive back, a lot of it went back to, like I said, some recruiting we did. Isaiah Burkle at linebacker. You look at our 2 inside linebackers would be Isaiah and Matt Singleton, both guys that we brought into this program from junior college ranks, guys that fit in great, you know, but have that experience for us. And so, you know, I don't really think I can point out one position, you know, but I think across the board, not only the depth, but the experience we have. You know, you look at Ryan, who's going to come up and talk, now having a year under his belt. You know, the game has slowed down for him, and that it wasn't slow last year. I mean, it's a fast-paced game, and in the RMAC where you guys people coming at you. Same thing with our defense. You know, you always have teams coming at you. Now we can put depth in there and rotate some guys, and so, you know, you just look across the board, and you look at our returners, our veteran guys, and then you add some of those pieces, and then we have about 20 to 25 redshirt kids that didn't play last year, that redshirted, that we feel are going to be contributors, whether it's special teams, whether it's being a guy that's going to add some depth at a different position. So, you know, that's what I like about it. It's not just one position; it's across the board.
What's the plan with the kicking game this year?
You know,
It's kind of a struggle.
oh yeah, I mean,
People who get step up did a great job.
yeah. You know, Trey Fleming obviously is one of our starting wide receivers, but, you know, is an unbelievable kicker, unbelievable athlete. He's going to be one of the guys challenging for the kicking duties, along with Jess Edens, along with a couple. We got some young kickers who, you know, we're just trying to, you know, find out a little bit more about them, you know, as we look at those guys. So, you know, the kicking games, it's still a battle. I mean, I think, and we're having competition. We're charting stuff in practice and seeing, you know, the consistency factor. We want to find a guy who can consistently give us what we need on kickoffs. That's very important. You know, last year we didn't have a touchback. You can get a touchback that's huge. You know, you're not giving those kids opportunities to return to football. And so, you know, we've got some kids that I believe have got some stronger legs and are able to come in. And as we continue to evaluate that, we'll see what is going to happen with our kicking game. But I feel very confident with Jess coming back and Trey coming back, and then those young guys that can come in and compete for a spot and either, you know, take a spot over or, you know, be able to make those guys a little bit better as well.
Talk about bringing in some JC guys and some other newcomers on defense. You know, obviously that's, you know, you look at it's been a bit of a struggle defensively the last few years. You got it, you know, in this conference. But talk about what those guys can do and solidify them.
Oh, I think, you know, the guys that we brought in the spring obviously made a huge impact for us. We talked about Jared. We talked about Isaiah. We talked about, who's the other one I'm thinking of? Dimitri Butts. So, you know, those three that came in at semester, obviously, and we got better right away just with them. Now, all of a sudden, you know, through the summer, we got a transfer from the University of Wyoming and Lewis Bach, who's very versatile. I mean, right now, we're playing him at corner. He's probably going to play some outside linebacker. If he plays corner, he could be the biggest corner in the league. I mean, and he's very athletic, played some special teams for him. You know, so we're very excited about him. Also, one of Dimitri's buddies transferred out here, Hebrew Maxis, of 1 year remaining. And so he's added some depth to us at D-line as well. And so, you know, those guys coming in, you know, having that playing experience, you just can't put a price tag on that, you know, rather than playing a kid that's a true freshman that, you know, last year was playing high school football, or a guy that even redshirted and has not played. And so, you know, it's made a huge difference, you know, those 5 guys, but then you add those 5 guys into what I feel is a very talented group of guys that now have more people around them, you know, whether it's a J.J. Kilgore, whether it's, you know, Matt Singleton, Damon Goldhammer, all the guys that have kind of been mainstays, you know, but they can't do everything, you know, Cody Benny, Thayer Sauter, we go right down the list. You know, now we have more of those guys, and that's huge. And so adding those 5, you know, mid-year transfers or fall transfers has been a big boost to us.
This year you had Dickinson State back to your schedule. They were a rival back before you went to Division II. How important is that, you know, going forward for not only, you know, competition-wise, but for, you know, program-wise to add another rival to your schedule?
I think it's great. I mean, number one, I think we're playing that game at 4 o'clock at night. Get a nice little atmosphere. Obviously, Dickinson's only a few hours away. I know they'll travel well. It's an old rival, so there's a lot of history in there, you know. And so with that, you bring that in. It's going to be something that I think both teams are looking at. You know, obviously we got Adams on our schedule, but there's no doubt in my mind that guys have looked at. You know, Tech, that's a game that's marked on our calendar. Shadron, that's a game that's marked on our calendar. You know, and then you look at Dickinson. Okay, that's a team that some of these guys may not know about, but you ask any alum out here or people that, you know, played back in the day, they're going to know those games with Dickinson State, and you know they're going to be a very well coached team. Pete Stanton's done a great job after taking over from Coach Bijou. You know, things really haven't changed much up there. They're doing the same thing, but they're going to play hard. But that'll be a big game for us, and I think it'll be a great regional game. I mean, just to bring them in, I think it'll be a great atmosphere, and so, you know, we're excited to have them as a non-conference opponent, be able to fill that hole and give us an 11-game schedule.
I guess systematically, as far as offense and defense, will there be a lot of change this year? Or did you try to, I guess, was it important to kind of build off of last year and just improve everything?
Yeah, it was. Nothing we had was broken. We just, you know, we needed to have more experience in there and continue to refine the stuff that we had. Now, I'm not telling you we didn't tweak some stuff, and you know, you go into spring ball and you kind of evaluate your athletes, you evaluate your kids. There's some things that, you know, maybe you thought were going to work for us that you didn't, but overall our scheme that we run, whether it's offense, defense, is virtually the same, and it was just continuing to build that continuity within the team, continuing to understanding the scheme better from Coach Eastburn and Coach Kerr, and our guys have really done a great job, you know. And it's you can have a playbook this thick, and we've always talked about it, but if you look at what each one of our mottos is for each one, it's fast, physical, and finish. Okay, fast, physical, and alert for our defense, and the first word is fast. The only way you're going to play fast is if you know what you're doing, and you know, so we try to keep it simple to make sure our guys are playing fast. And we just talked about when you come back from being a young kid and you don't have experience, you know, the game is way too fast for you. We've got to learn to teach to slow that game down for them, and I think now that's what's happening. Is the game is slowing down. Our guys are able to react and make the plays they need to, both offense, defense. And so, schematically, not a lot of changes were made. It was just making sure that we are very good at what we do, and take what we had that was successful last year, build on that, take it into spring ball, take it into fall camp, and just continue to build on that around the guys that we feel like that are playmakers or that we need to make sure that are doing things on defense.
How's it going, everybody? My name's Ryan Hommel. I'm a sophomore quarterback here. I'm from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And I just want to thank all of you for coming out and giving us time to speak about a very special team that we have this year. So I'll now be open to any questions.
Well, just talk about the difference between this time last year for you and now. Obviously, it is huge.
It's a big jump, monumental difference. Last year I came in, 18-year-old kid, played high school football in Colorado. You only see a few defensive coverages. You only see a couple blitzes, couple stunts, and then you get up here and everything changes. And last year I had to learn the playbook, get chemistry with the receivers, learn my own linemen. I mean, there were times I didn't even know everybody's name on the team, and we were starting our first game. And I don't have to worry about any of that this year. I have chemistry with all my players, all my receivers. I know the playbook, not quite inside and out, but I know it a lot better than last year. And I'm confident, in my coverage recognition, my defense recognition, things that I didn't work on as much in high school because I didn't have the opportunity to, and I didn't need to be quite frank. And this summer I was blessed. I was grateful to have Coach Eastburn up here. I came up after the 4th of July and lived up here for the second half of summer, and every day came in and did about an hour and a half of just coverage recognition and disguise recognition. So I hopped on, and he would put up clips and make playlists of defenses, and he would say, what do you see here pre-snap? What do you see post-snap? Where's your read? And so those things have been pounded in my head now, and that's really what I needed. It gives me the confidence and the ability to go out and help this team.
So physically, from that perspective, from your coverage recognition to key transition, how do you feel mentally on the field now that you're more comfortable, that you're able to execute that from a physical standpoint?
Oh, Coach brought it up earlier. The game slowed down, and that's huge. It's starting to feel like football again for me. Last year it was fast, and I had to get used to it pretty quick. Got thrown into the fire against Idaho State, D1 school, and I learned very quickly that this is not high school football anymore. But now, like I said, I'm extremely confident. The game slowed down. The playbook is something I don't have to worry about anymore. I know my reads, I know my plays, and so now all I have to focus on is, how are we going to beat the defense? How are we going to go 1-0 every play, every game? And so, I'm confident that we're going to be able to come out as an offense and as a team and really dominate this year on the field.
And as a quarterback, being in that position, you actually basically run your offense. And from that perspective, what are you doing differently as a now sophomore that makes each of your players committed and do the jobs that they're expected to do? And if they're not, what is your reaction?
It's a leadership thing. It's something that last year, that was kind of on the bottom of the totem pole for me. I had so many things to worry about that leadership wasn't even, the first thing on the list. And now I can start to focus on that. And now that I know everybody's job, I know everybody's, reads on the plays. When something goes wrong, I recognize it right away, and I can remind them. And that's something as a quarterback, you got to be the point guard. You got to know what's going on at all times. And I'm much more confident now in the whole team and offense as a whole. Our team returned 15 starters. So there's times where I don't even have to worry about it. We got guys in the O-line that's like, hey, you need to ace on that block. You need to pull around to the left side, stuff like that, where I hear that and I don't have to say anything. I know that they have it under control. But I'm glad that, I came back for a reason. If I didn't want to be here, if I didn't think I could do it, then I would have gone home. I came up, like I said, halfway through summer just to help this team. It's not a personal thing. I want to help this team win. Coach said it earlier, we're about winning. It's a mindset. So I think reacting to our players, their mistakes, that's how we learn. Our word of the day today, our starting wide receiver, Shandon Jones. Every practice we have a word of the day before it starts. He said the word of the day was failure. which is a very interesting word because usually it's something like ambition or success or something that you want to strive for. He used failure because that's how you learn. And I think this team, we had more failure than every other team in the conference. And all that did was build a fire. I'll tell you that right now. We really believe that this team has something that no other team has, and that's the will to win, something that we haven't had in a year. I'm a quarter of the way done with my football career in college, and I haven't won a game. And that's something that I'm not proud of. So I'm excited to go out there and get some W's this year.
I'll give you permission to let that fire get out of control.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As a freshman last year, as you said, you were thrown into the fire pretty quickly. What have you changed from your, your game thinking aspect to try to better yourself to make your team better? How have you changed your game?
Just the little things. I took a step back, and I really had to take a look in the mirror and look at myself first. I think last year I was so down on myself, trying to find other reasons and excuses of why I wasn't doing well. And once I slowed everything down in spring ball, things started to get easier. And things like changing up the snap count so I can notice rotation. Things like giving our receivers extra tag routes just to pull the defense out a certain way. Stuff like that, the things that I didn't have time to focus on, the things that I didn't have time to learn last year. I had 2 weeks in fall camp and a week before school, and it was time. And I tried to soak everything up as much as I could. And, this year, like I said, it's become the fine-tuning stuff. So it's been a lot easier for me, and I think, it shows on the field that once the game slows down, you really start to understand what the defense is doing. It makes it a lot easier. Get first downs, score touchdowns, win the game.
So your freshman year was mostly educational. What was the best lesson you learned from going through last year the way you did?
Can't get worse. Can't get worse than it did. We really hit rock bottom, and that whole team felt it, especially me. The worst feeling that you can have as a quarterback is letting your teammates down, and that happened for 11 weeks straight. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to happen again. But if it does, we're going to bounce back. And that's the biggest thing this year is this team needs to learn how to, when things go wrong, turn it around. Get back on your feet. When you get knocked down, get right back up. And we've been focusing on that in the chase. That's one of our mottos. And we know where we are as a team. We know that we're behind right now, and we're chasing everybody else. Our camp started later because of the Sturgis rally. They rent out all the dorms and apartments and everything, so we can't even live up here when other teams have started camp. So we're chasing everybody in this conference, but we're ready to go out there and win some games this year.
Thanks, Ryan.
You bet. Appreciate it.
Tough act to follow, Ryan. But I'm JJ Kilgore. I'm a free safety. This will be my junior year, and I'm from Denver, Colorado. Thank you all for coming out here. We really appreciate it. And at this time, if you have any questions, be glad to answer them.
Like Coach talked about with the additions to the defense, what's that mean to you and the rest of the guys that have been here for a couple of years? Probably a little bit of relief, you get a little help type of thing.
Oh man, yeah, it's been great to really get to play with those JUCO transfers in spring ball and these first couple of days in fall camp. It's made a huge difference, and I think a big thing for me, Coach Levine talked about it last night, is before we had guys that were great guys, but they were just kind of football players out there, and now we have guys that are great guys, still great guys, but they can make those plays and have confidence in them, and that they're going to get their job done, and it's just been a really great addition to our defense.
As the leader of the best side of the football, and most aggressive, obviously, but what are you guys doing to make each other accountable to execute the plays you're supposed to make, and when you don't make the plays, handling the effect of that and making sure that it's understood? Because, you be friends, but you got to get your job done.
Exactly, yeah. A big thing for us is that we've really been emphasizing is communication through the defense. We're really communicating on everyone knows what they're doing and everyone has their job and everyone's flying to the football. And like you said, when things don't go well, we have to be able to rebound. I think that's something that we struggled with last year's kind of things started to snowball at times. and we have to be 1-0 on every play. If something goes wrong, then we have to move on. We have to go out a new play. We have to win that and create a turnover, get a 3 and out, something like that.
The fact that it's such an offensive-oriented conference, you guys got, there's no breaks at all.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you make a great play and you think pretty good, and then boom, something happens. Talk about what that does for you.
Oh yeah, it's there's no weeks off in the RMAC. There's great offensive players every single week. But yeah, I'm talking on game day. Yeah, if a play happens, I mean they're on scholarship too. The offensive players they're getting money to be here and to make plays, and we have to understand that too. Like, plays are going to happen. We're not going to shut every single team out, and like I said, we need to rebound, and we can't let 1 touchdown turn into 6 touchdowns. So I think just being okay with what happened, and then but not necessarily being okay with it, but changing it for going forward in the game.
You guys set individual goals as a team to improve from game to game, and certainly from last year's experience, the various areas in which you have rushing, passing, number of plays per series, that you guys are trying to improve not only for the year but game to game to game?
I wouldn't necessarily say that we have individual goals. I know one goal that we have is at the end of the year we want to be plus 22 as a team in turnover differential. That means we're getting 2 a game. That's a big thing we put an emphasis on so far in fall camp and in the spring ball, is we want to create turnovers. We want to get the ball back into our offense because they are explosive. They will put points on the board, and we got to keep them off the board.
As far as the relationship between defense and offense, I know there was times last year, I mean, obviously with Ryan in his first year, a lot of times where there wasn't a lot of time of possession. You guys had to spend a lot of time on the field, but
Mm-hmm.
in turn, I know you guys on defense did everything you could to try to put them in the best position to get some first downs and get you guys some breaks. You got to be a lot more optimistic about that going into this year with Ryan and have another year under his belt and a little more depth on the offensive line and things.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, the progression from Ryan through spring ball and already through fall camp, he's a totally different player. He has control of that offense. Phydell, Blaylock, Shandon Jones. I mean, we have extreme talent on the offensive side of the ball, and we're a team, so we're not worried. We're not worried if they turn the ball over, then we're getting it right back. That's kind of the mindset we're having. We're a team, and nothing's going to change that.
So you're saying the offense is winning a few more of the battles in your scrimmages every day?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but no, it's definitely been good competition, and that's one of our core values. Competition, we love it, and yeah, just both sides flying around. It's been great.
The coaches had you guys on the clock yet on the 40-yard, and any increase in speed with the defensive back positions?
Oh yeah, we usually test out during spring ball. I think everyone got faster. we had Coach Siekman come in. We had a full off season with him. We got bigger, faster, stronger. It was just a total change, and we really embodied that chase that we were talking about earlier. It's been really great. Thank you.
I'm Phydell Paris. I play running back. I'm from Thornton, Colorado, and this will be my junior year. I'll take any questions you guys got.
We'll just talk about that offense and, the changes you're looking for this year. Obviously, balance, if the quarterbacks make the plays, then, it kind of frees you up. You
Right.
can't have a defensive,
Oh, yeah.
weakness on the play.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's big time to have that nice balance, and we had it a lot of times last year. And there's some big games. We had some big some big games that just happened to be shootouts, and we got to just be on the right side of those kind of games this year. And I think we've worked a lot harder as far as just trying to make sure we're really good at what we want to do. And we want to run the football. We want to set up the play action. We want to stretch the field a lot. And so that's really been an emphasis as far as like an offensive goal, and just not letting guys take plays off, and really just making sure that we're always where we need to be and doing what we need to do to execute those plays and be on the right side of the the scoreboard at the end of the game.
Over your first 2 seasons, you've been averaging about, 20 touches a game, I suppose. How's the body held up through that? And what would you say your limit is as far as how many times you want to touch the ball in a game?
It's actually been pretty good. I learned quickly after that first season that I needed to take care of my body a little bit more, and I kind of took a little bit more pride in that my second year, and really just getting in the ice bath and stretching and taking the stuff after games really seriously. And it's actually, I feel great. I think this is my 3rd year or it's really my 4th year here because I redshirted, and I just have learned a lot while I've been here. And it's like I kind of joke around with these guys. I kind of feel like one of the like really older guys, and it's kind of put in that position really early, and it's been great. I'm really blessed to be here, and I love the people around me, and it's been fun, and I'm ready to push it as far as I can go. I wouldn't say there's like a limit on it, but I'll do whatever it takes to help the team win. So that's where we're at.
Along with that too, part of your touches, you had quite a few catches over the course of your first 2 years. You still like to do that, or you?
Oh, yeah.
What's your preference? I'm sure you'd love to run.
Yeah, running is always fun. I actually like the change up a lot. I kind of take pride in that as a running back. We need to be. I tell my guys every day, like, we need to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. We got to be able to stretch the field. We can't be a liability in the pass game, and so that's just kind of something I always do. Like I joke around with the guys in meetings because one of our protections, if nobody comes, we can check out and get in our route, and I'm always trying to be the first guy out of there. I want to catch the ball and get in space and stuff. And I think that helps our team a lot most of the time. And I talked with Ryan and stuff about it all the time too. I'm always just in his ear. I'm always I got your check down, that kind of thing. So it's been good. I do like both. So it's going to be a fun year. I'm really excited to see what we can do with all the guys coming back.
Collectively as a unit, obviously I'm sure would like to set a goal to get to 100 yards per game,
Yeah.
improve where you're already close to. But as a unit, do you feel that each individual is committed to the fact that they want to make that unit stronger and explosive this year?
Yes, I think that's really been an emphasis in the spring ball too. Is that we kind of had some goals or aspirations as far as like last year, but they weren't good enough, or they're not they weren't getting done. And so this year, I think everybody kind of humbled themselves, and I know 11 season will do that to you. They committed themselves to being the best they can for the team and the best they can to make the offense work. Sometimes that's a lot of guys are trying to do too much, and especially on offense, that's not always a good thing. Whereas on defense, 3 guys can mess up, 1 guy makes a great play, nobody notices. And so that's one of the things on offense we can't allow ourselves to do, is get out of position or trying to do too much to where we're hurting the overall goal of what we want to do for that play. And so I think that guys have really bought into that, and it's a mindset, like all the coaches and these guys have said. And we've really, as leaders, we kind of try to take more responsibility in fall camp and through the summer, and staying around and making sure guys are doing what they need to do and for the success of the team. Thanks, guys.